Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on this new DC coming away. So it's been a big week for this upcoming DC reboot under James Gunn. Well, I say upcoming though; it's already started with Commandos, which is 4 episodes in so far. But Superman is being used and being said by James Gunn that is the official start, and that, as in Superman, the film had its first trailer drop in the form of a teaser trailer over the past few days from when this video comes out, hopefully. And I would say the response has been pretty damn positive, if not very positive, which is great to see. Of course, it is just a teaser, but for me, the teaser trailers, the job for it is to suck you into that world and make you go, okay, I'm going to enjoy this. And it's the other trailers afterwards, like the main trailer that might be Super Bowl day. I'm not too sure when that main trailer is going to come out, but it's the job of that trailer and maybe the trailer after that to sell the plot and sell the characters and everything like that. So for me, at least, the teaser did its job. And there are some valid criticisms out there. And I knew that James Gunn's take on not just Superman, but I guess like a larger DC world would not be for everybody. But I was fairly confident I would dig it for the most part, and that teaser comforts my expectations. So I'm very much looking forward to not just jumping into that film specifically of Superman, but everything else that comes afterward, whether it's Peacemaker Season 2, though that's like lower my expectations in regards to excitements. But like Supergirl lands and everything after that, like I'm really looking forward to it. But that teaser trailer wasn't the only thing worth talking about this week in the world of this new DC universe. Some news and reports came out for a few different upcoming projects within it, so let's talk about them. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions and everything we go over, what interests you here, any opinions, let me know. And of course, if you want to enjoy the video, want to drop a like, do it. Takes 2 seconds. Now, the first thing, going back a bit, we are going to quickly just talk about the Superman trailer because this just came out like 10 minutes before I record this video, luckily. But we got news that this Superman teaser trailer actually broke massive records for not just DC, but Warner Brothers as well. So apparently it is the most viewed and most talked about trailer in DC and Warner Brothers history. Now, of course, with the age of social media and the, additions to social media like TikTok over the past couple of years, that adds a completely new set of metrics and everything like that. So it's a bit unfair to like some trailers maybe before that, but then again, social media has just grown on those other places like YouTube, Twitter, Instagram and stuff over that time as well. So it'd be higher regardless anyway, but over 250 million views and 1 million social posts, which is crazy. Now, I think the teaser trailer on YouTube, like the DC YouTube, has a tad over 26 million. It was 26 million the last time I saw, but it's probably getting closer to 27. So maybe over the next week or stuff, it'll break that 30 million thing, which will be great to see. But in regards to that, the million, I've got two big things to talk about here. The first thing with those million social posts, I do think it's pretty funny that the people that were just went into this teaser trailer going, I'm going to hate this, I'm going to shit talk this trailer and stuff, would have helped into breaking that record. But I think there's a bit of irony and just hilarity around that. The second thing is, I have a friend. No, I have more than one friend, but I just want to say I have a singular friend in regards to this instance, but he is like a guy that's not off the grid. He's not living in a little cabin in the woods with a bow and arrow hunting wild boar, and that's what he eats. He's not that, but he only uses Instagram. He only uses Instagram as like a social media thing. It's just the people he follows, and he doesn't like, he's very like minimalistic when it comes to the social media stuff. For example, he didn't even know Deadpool and Wolverine was a movie, let alone that the movie came out and now it's on Disney Plus. He had no idea that movie even existed, Deadpool and Wolverine. Just to let you know. He doesn't use TikTok, he doesn't use Twitter, he doesn't use Facebook, and as I said, like the YouTube stuff, it's just the people he's subscribed to. He knew about this Superman trailer and texted me about it within 12 hours of it being out. And I was confused and asked him, like, how the hell do you know about that? And the only reason he messaged me is because he knows I do this YouTube stuff. And I was like, how the hell did you know about that? Because I asked him about Deadpool and Wolverine, he had no clue about it a couple of months ago. And he said, oh, it was recommended to me on YouTube. And I was like, why? And he's like, well, I don't know. It never happens. But I think it's because so many people were watching it. It was so high on trending. It just slipped into the other people's recommended. So he's a guy who normally wouldn't know about it if the trailer had underperformed a bit under what it did. But because it performed as well as it did and it slipped into other metrics and recommended and analytics and stuff like that, and the algorithm, he knows about this movie. And he's like, yeah, I'll probably go watch it. Maybe. But that's, I guess, if he gets reminded about it when it's close to the date. So It's pretty crazy. I think it's slipping into the general public in a way that I think a lot of people weren't worried about. Now, whether it resonates with the general public is another question, because they can see the trailer, but they might be like, okay, it's not for me. So it'll be interesting. But the fact that I was shocked that he knew about it, it's like the one guy I thought would never even know this movie existed unless I told him, and it'd be in one ear out the other after I told him anyway. So I'm shocked that he messaged me about it. But let's move on. I just wanted to do my little own story time. So we've got some lantern stuff. So Cole Chandler was saying, I think this might be like in a bookstore or something like that, but he was seen rocking a very Hal Jordan look for lanterns potentially. And he's looking like the Green Lantern Earth 1 Hal Jordan. And Earth 1, or Green Lantern Earth 1, if you don't know, is the comic series that was teased as like an inspiration for this series of lanterns. Now that comic series is very cosmic based, like pretty much all of it happens in space for the most part, with some stuff a little bit on Earth. While we know Lanterns as a series is pretty much mostly going to be on Earth, so it's not going to be story wise, but it could be the tone and the feel and everything like that. We don't know specifically when Lane starts filming, like in regards to an exact date or like even like within the next month or so. We just know it's meant to be early into 2025. But if this is the look he's rocking, it looks fairly, I guess, like on board. Like maybe they might go clean shaven with him. I think Cole Chandler is the best choice they had out of the bunch from the ones we heard. The only one that was like sort of leaning towards that might be interesting is Matthew McConaughey. And I guess Timothy Oliphant as well, though it just felt like they probably like Timothy Oliphant was like an afterthought one they just chucked in there. It never like it seemed like he was a serious contender. And Matthew McConaughey was like, well, the series they said it's like literally like inspired by True Detective, so a Matthew McConaughey casting would have been a bit too on the nose. And then it came out that that wasn't even like a real possibility, Matthew McConaughey coming in. So I think Kyle Chandler is a really solid choice. I'm really excited to see what he's like, and also he's a character actor. You're not casting him because he's Matthew McConaughey. You're casting him because he's Cole Chandler, the character actor. So I'm really excited to see what he does there with it. But one other little piece of lantern stuff is that this is something that was sort of brought up like, I don't know, a handful of months ago. I can't remember specifically when, but I know it was mentioned previously. But according to Variety, they're saying that Nathan Fillion will be reprising his role as Guy Gardner from Superman in Lanterns. Now, this was reported as I said, like a while ago, but Variety is now going with it, so that makes it a bit more interesting. Now, he's not going to be there every episode. I still have this weird theory that they might kill him off, and he might be like the catalyst for what happens. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think it's a interesting theory to think about. I guess it's more tone wise because he looks like, let's be honest, he looks ridiculous in the Superman trailer, but that's intended. He's meant to look really silly, look like an idiot, like that's sort of the intention there. So I'm interested to see if maybe he has a different hairstyle, like they go with like the other Guy Gardner hairstyles from the comics when he shows up in Lens, or whether they just go full cheeseball when he shows up and it's just it's like meant to be like this tonal shift when he's in the show. But we'll wait and see, of course. But it's interesting. It's not too surprising that another Green Lantern would show up in Lens. It's just more surprising that maybe it's that specific Green Lantern of Guy Gardner, at least based off how he looks in Superman. But we do have some Superman stuff relating to just the movie, not the actual trailer. So one thing is the budget for this film. It's been something that's talked about a lot, and someone asked, well, so a report came out from like a Cleveland news site about the budget, and they're reporting that the budget is over $350 million. I think $363 million and some change to be precise, which is crazy for a production budget. Like that was production budget and advertising. That's probably standard for like a big comic book blockbuster movie. But that for your production budget, that would sense that you've gone back to reshoot the movie twice, like gone back to major reshoots twice. Like I think that's the budget they're expecting roughly for that Captain America movie, which has had like 2 or 3 sets of reshoots. Superman hasn't. They've done some pickups, but like a day or 2 of pickups, which would be like a couple of million if you're lucky. But someone asked James, I think James Gunn, I think it was on Threads once again. I don't use Threads, but someone asked him there about, and he says, no, good God, I wish I had somewhere even close to that budget. And look, now people are wondering what the actual budget is because he said, I wish I had somewhere even close to that, as if they're saying that he worked on like a $100 million budget or something. I think most are assuming, like even like the actual people that know about like what it costs and stuff, they're assuming it's around $200 to $250 million, which is, I guess, stock standard. Like I think The Flash was about 200, 220. I think Man of Steel was about 200 to 220 as well. So it's generally around that ballpark. But it's important to remember, no one on the cast for this film would be asking for that much money. Like the biggest name is arguably Nicholas Hoult, and he wouldn't be asking for, $50 million, thank you very much. So it could honestly be somewhere from maybe even 175 to 225 for this production budget when you include the cast payments and stuff. But I think if I had to be more like pick one, I'd probably say like 200, 250 million for a Superman film does sound about right. But I knew when I saw that report of like even just over 300 million, I knew that was a load of ass because there's just no way. But one final thing on Superman, Gunn was actually asked, it's not really about Superman, but it involves Superman. But Gunn was asked on what his next project after Superman is going to be and like when this is all happening. He said that he is actually doing what he calls pre-writing, which is probably just like some dot points or regards to, you know, it's, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of it like the authority set in present day. These are the characters. Rough story. That might be what the pre-writing is for him. So it's just like sort of like setting up the skeletons or the frame of the film, if you want to put it. But of course, the next film that we know is getting under production is Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and we actually found out, and like we already knew that it was filming early into next year, but we found that it's actually beginning to shoot in the next couple of weeks. Now they're filming this in England. So I don't think there's going to be like a lot of those set photos like you saw with Superman because they obviously filmed in the middle of Cleveland and everything. So I don't think they'll do that. And also this is it's set in space. So unless they do like some early stuff where it's meant to be in like a metropolitan area, I don't think you'll see set photos unless they have to go to like an outside area to do some stuff there. And even if they did, like I think they'd like block it off pretty well. That's the advantage of filming in somewhere like England. It's fairly easily to not get found for the most part. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of that stuff, but I think they might do some like, because there's like not going to be those set photos, they might release some photos, throughout the production thing, like a first look potentially, just to sort of remind people that this movie is happening. But that's a wait and see, of course. But like a lot of people think we're going to see this character of Supergirl in Superman in some way, in some portion of it, probably towards the end or something like that, as like a little bit of a teaser just to sort of set up Supergirl. But then again, Superman doesn't come out for another 7 months. So this movie will most likely be done filming by the time Superman even hits theaters. But of course, I think Supergirl's performance in the box office is really going to rely on Superman, because if Superman doesn't do well, you'd assume Supergirl's going to do worse than Superman. So hopefully Superman does really well, so then it sets up Supergirl for a nice box office just on the back of Superman, which will be really, really nice. And another movie that we know starts filming next year, we don't know specifically when, but I think it's meant to start fairly early into next year, like at least within the next, like the first 3 or 4 months of 2025, is that of Clayface. And James Gunn opened on Clayface, and that really wasn't his plan. He said, I didn't plan on making a Clayface movie. Mike Flanagan came in, he pitched this wonderful idea. I was like, damn, I can't believe you got me to want to make a Clayface movie, but he's got to write the script, and who knows how that's going to work. He goes and he writes the script. First draft is great, second draft is even better, and then I'm like, let's do it. So we found a place for it because if there's quality stuff, we can find a way to work it in. And I personally think, obviously this is getting made because it's low budget. It's only, low budget for a superhero film. It's 40, or a comic book movie, it's 40 million. Like they're going to make the money back easily. It could flop and it'd probably make its money back. But I think it's also because things aren't rolling along as smoothly as I think Gunn probably thought it would. It's not like it's disaster stages. I've seen people say that, like, oh my God, there's like, where's Batman Brave and the Bold? Where's all these other movies? The Authority, crickets, Swamp Thing, crickets. But I think it's just not like this, because Gunn's gone with the whole thing, like the script has to be borderline perfect before they even move along, which I think is the right way to do it. When you've announced all these projects and you are doing an interconnected universe, like you just expect projects to come out at a certain point. So I think Clayface is just this thing where he said, like, Mike Flanagan, he like had no plans to do a Clayface thing, but Mike Flanagan's come with this idea. It works. They can easily make it. And it's almost like a placeholder. So it keeps the universe in some sort of consistent release schedule. So that means we're going to have Supergirl coming out, around time, and like Clayface, roughly the same year, I think it is. And then that gives them time to develop some other stuff and get some stuff more perfected. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's even someone else that's come in with an idea. Not saying it's Mike Flanagan with another idea, but it could be like, I don't know, like just someone, just someone that's come in with like a general idea of like a lower budget film, and they've got like this really like personal idea, and James Gunn's, you know what, okay, we'll do that, and we'll find a slot for it because maybe this Batman movie or this Swamp Thing movie isn't rolling as smoothly as we thought it would, and it's not going to come out for another couple of years after we originally intended. So I think that's actually a decent strategy, but you just can't rely on that strategy at the same time, because then all of a sudden people aren't coming up with ideas and then you fall behind the 8 ball. So hopefully it works out, but I think this is a good idea for at least the meantime. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions and everything we went over this video. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.